Would you introduce yourself and tell me about Raise the Wage PA?
I'm John Dodds. I'm the director of the Philadelphia Unemployment Project, and I'm coordinating the statewide coalition Raise the Wage PA, which has over 60 organizations, and it's come together to fight for a fair minimum wage in the state of Pennsylvania.
So you're in Harrisburg today. Tell me what you're doing.
Well, we're doing a third of 3 spring lobbies on minimum wage. We're visiting every member of the legislature over the last 3 visits. We're leaving material, we're talking to staff, we're talking to senators and representatives, and basically tell them why we think it's past time to raise the minimum wage in Pennsylvania. It's been over 10 years since there's been an increase, and it's time to move it, and we're really emphasizing getting a bill voted on the floor. It's been kept in committee for years. It's time for a vote. It's time to raise the wage.
What did it take to organize a lobby day?
Well, we've got groups around the state. We've encouraged them to pick a day to come in. There are 3 different days, and we've got to pull together materials to hand out to the legislators. We've got to encourage people to come, to stand up and have their voices heard. We've got to make sure we've got somebody to meet them and make sure that they're given a good assignment to go to offices. One of the groups has brought flowers to leave with the senators and the representatives, saying that it's time to grow the Pennsylvania economy with a fair wage. So, we're doing some press work, and in general, we're just trying to make sure that our voice is heard. The voice of low-wage workers and the voice of economic justice is heard up on Capitol Hill here. As Senator, maybe you could help us get a better idea what's the best way to reach a legislator, and how do you think it's easiest for us to make a difference?
Number 1, our visits. Whether it's in the Capitol or in the district office, the individual demands and persuasion of citizens is the number 1 in person. Number 2, I say our letters. Letters also have an in-person feeling, and if it's organized and we receive the letters all around the same day and the same time, that can be effective. Third, I say it would be phone calling, and 4th would be emailing. The most important thing is that it's organized all around the same day or week. So why should we raise the minimum wage here in Pennsylvania?
Well, the minimum wage is the floor of wages. It's the bottom, and we're at a time where wages are stagnant for everybody, and we think it's very important that the floor of a minimum wage be raised to at least $10 an hour. It'll affect over 1.3 million workers in Pennsylvania. It'll affect 84% of them are adults. They're over 20. And it's time to be done. And on top of that, every state surrounding us has already raised the minimum wage. We're the only state in the Northeast that still has a $7.25 minimum wage. And it's good for the economy, too. We're going to put almost $2 billion in new wages into the Pennsylvania economy if we raise the minimum wage to $10.10 an hour. So there's a number of reasons. And the most, the basic one is a basic fairness, that people who work hard should make enough to support themselves and their families. And at $7.25, they can't do that.
Now, we hear that businesses are opposed to raising the minimum wage. Is that really the case?
It's a funny thing. There's a recent poll done for the Chamber of Commerce, the National Chamber of Commerce, and one of the questions was, do you oppose or support raising your state minimum wage? 80% of the 1,000 people that were polled said they are in favor of raising the state minimum wage. So you have to wonder sometimes, what does the Chamber of Commerce represent? If 80% of businesses support it, why is the Chamber of Commerce against it? We think that they should be supportive of it also, just as their members are. But they seem to be pushing sort of a conservative agenda, which may not actually represent the business interests.
Raise the Wage Coalition has been around for a few years.
A couple of years, yeah.
A couple of years. So what has been accomplished in those 2 years?
Well, I must say, we've done a good job of raising the issue. We've had statewide events, 10, 12 cities at a time across the state of Pennsylvania. We've got a lot of support. We've done some direct actions at key senators, but I must say it's a little frustrating to see that the Republican majority has refused to move this bill. So on one hand, we've kept the issue. On the other hand, we're really running into a stone wall, I think, so far with the Republican leadership. There are some members that are supporting, but overall, the problem is we can't get a vote. And it's now been 10 years. On June 30th, it'll be 10 years since the last time that the Pennsylvania legislature voted on minimum wage. So we're happy, but we're also pretty frustrated, I would say, at this point.
But I think it's so important that you maintain the momentum. One thing I've learned here in the Capitol is that getting something passed is much more like a 10,000 meter race, nothing like a 200 meter. And so you got to go around and around and around and be persistent. And with that kind of effort, I think we can win.
That's been our history in different issues, is you just have to be persistent, because we're on the side of right. I think everybody, vast majority of the people know the minimum wage should be raised, and if we keep raising it, it's going to happen. But it does become frustrating when you see people are standing in the way for no particularly good reason that we can see.
But the flip side to that is there any chance that we will forever have a minimum wage of $7.25 an hour?
No, eventually it's going to go up. So if we keep pushing, of course, one of the things we're worried about, it'll be a very small increase, which will lock people in and very far behind what they want. After 10 years, we need a pretty substantial increase. Now, we're trying to be reasonable. We're, $15 an hour is a number that's all over the country. We sort of are acknowledging that that's probably not going to happen in this legislature. But we think at least 10.10. That's what we're saying. At least 10.10 an hour needs to happen, and we need a cost of living escalator with it, because that's the other thing that happens. Minimum wage goes up, get a good increase in 2006. We sit on it for 10 years. There's no reason for that. All Gus legislators get a cost of living escalator, and the Social Security gets one, and we think the minimum wage needs to be raised. So we need a cost of living, and we need a decent increase.
Thank you very much for sharing how your organization works to bring citizens to make the government work. Even though it takes a long time, I'm confident we will win.
I appreciate it, and your leadership is greatly appreciated, Senator.
If people are interested in raising the Wage Raise Coalition or participating in some way, what should they do?
Well, they can get involved on our Facebook page, Raise the Wage PA Facebook page, and we have a webpage, raisethewagepa.org. Get involved. We do need people from across the state. We need a voice from all over Pennsylvania. We've done a pretty good job of getting people in from different parts of Pennsylvania, but we always need more. And if you feel this issue, get involved and join with us.
Thank you so much.